You know, I've been waiting to buy a variable ND filter for what feels like about 24 years. And the reason I haven't done it yet is because I could never ever fully commit to whether it was the Polar Pro Peter McKinnon or the cheapest of the cheap, because they all had strengths and they all had weaknesses. Now this VND that I'm going to review today is no different, but do the pros outweigh the cons? Let's find out. So what is a variable ND filter? I think we all know it by now, but a neutral density filter is like sunglasses for your camera. You've heard it a million times, but basically what it is, it allows you to control the light that gets into your camera, because no camera without an ND filter can do that. Yes, you can close your aperture, yes, you can play about with your ISO and also your shutter speed, but you ultimately can't change the amount of light that's coming in the front of the camera. And that's where a neutral density filter comes in. Where a VND starts to shine is the variable part, because what it means is you can change the amount of effect that the neutral density filter has without having to take a filter off, put a new one on, and that makes the whole process a lot easier. And another reason why I haven't bought one yet is because, as you know, I'm all about I'm all about swallowing flies. I'm all about streamlining my workflow so that when I go out with the camera, it's as faff-free as possible. Same when I'm shooting videos. And just having to screw on filters, take them off, put them on, is just an added layer of complexity that I really wasn't keen on. But then we started chucking magnets on everything. And magnets, as we all know, are just simply magical. So basically here it is. I've got the filter on, and basically take it off, that's it, put it back on, that's it. Simple. But what makes this even more clever is there is a position when you rotate the filter, oh god, I don't want to do it, and there's no way that's coming off, so it locks it in place. But if I want to take it off, quick quarter turn, pull, it's off, quick quarter turn, it's back in, and it's locked again. That is what really started to swing me round to looking at this as a serious contender. Another benefit of the NiSi system is that it's not only a VND, it actually works as a polarizer as well, because there are two filters stuck tightly on top of each other, and you can rotate the front part and you can rotate the back part. So to use the polarizing effect, you grab both parts of it, you turn it until you've got the desired amount of polarization that you want, and then the front element uses the pin to move independently of the back part, and now you can set however much neutral density that you're looking for. One of the main things you have to think about when you buy a VND is, as you move through and increase the amount of ND, does it start to color cast your image? So as you can see, it's a very overcast day. It's almost white out beside me. So I've taken some images and I'll take them at different stops so you can see with your own eyes whether you think a color cast is being applied. One of the main reasons you might consider buying a VND is because you shoot a lot of video. And as you know, with the 180-degree shutter rule, you need to set your shutter speed to twice your frame rate. And on bright days, that becomes very difficult because it can still let in far too much light. Enter the VND and you can control how much light is hitting the camera by changing the stops on the VND. It's magic, but today isn't the day to test that, so stick around and let's get some sunshine. Overall, I'm starting to become very happy with my purchase, but one thing that I did notice, I tried to save a little bit of money and I didn't buy the full ND kit with all the different attachments because it was over £300. I only needed the ND filter and I thought I'll save some money, buy that, get the attachment ring, buy a couple of extra ones for my other lenses, and job's a good one. But what happened after I shot the first part of the video was I realised that the Canon caps don't go back on the front while the filter's still on. So I've had to buy 3 new caps, and also the little plastic cases that they come in are a faff to put them in and out, so I've had to buy this. It's a rather nifty filter carry case. It's soft shell, but it's hard, if you know what I mean. and there's plenty of room in there. You can see that for lots of other filters. So I'm going to try and keep this. I believe this is for the 95mm threads, and the reason I've bought something larger than I needed was because of that little pin that's on the side of the ND. So I'm hoping that that's going to fit in there, and we'll find out soon enough. So to capture this shot, I've got the sun directly behind the camera, shooting right into my face. Things are really, really bright. My shutter speed is at 1/60, frame rate 30 as you know, and I've managed to control this exposure, but I now have the filter at its maximum setting. So how does the image look? Again, does it look okay, or do you feel that there's a strong colour cast in this? Part of that might be down to how I edit it, but I'll try and keep it as simple as possible. But the fact that I can even do this is quite amazing. As a filmmaker, one of the best things about having a VND on your camera is that if the scene is too bright like this, you don't have to change filters, and you come, darken the image down a little bit. How does that look now? Absolutely seamless, no faffing about in your bag, no screwing of filters, no dropping them, getting fingerprints on them, scratching them. Just turn the pin, get the exposure you want, and everything looks great. So what are my thoughts about the NiSi JetMag Pro VND? As I've made this video and the more I've used it, the more I'm starting to fall in love with it. It was a bit of a pain that I had to buy some additional accessories, but that was probably on me rather than the website. But now that I've got all of that, I've got 3 magnetic rings on all my lenses, and on Monday I'll be getting my new magnetic caps to come so I can store them in my bag. It's going to make it a lot easier. But ultimately it's all about the image quality. And I think they've done a fantastic job here with their true colour setup. The footage is really easy to edit. I'm shooting in C-Log, I've added on the Canon LUT, and all I'm having to do is a little bit of tweaking in Final Cut Pro to get the image that I want. But that's all down to the fact that I can control the exposure really, really easily. It's definitely getting a thumbs up from me at this point. I asked the question at the start, do the pros outweigh the cons? And in my opinion, they definitely do. Because when you look at the pros, the fact that it's got magnets, that's always going to make it brilliant. The fact that it's very faff free, you can set the thing up very, very quickly. It comes on and off your camera in literally no time. You've got 1 to 5 stops of ND. In addition to that, it's also a circular polarizer, and it works beautifully with both photographs and video. So a huge list of pros, and I think for the price of £189 plus the additional accessories that I bought, make it really worthwhile. But there are a couple of cons, and I've already mentioned one of them, and the fact is it only goes from 1 to 5 as an ND filter. So you might find that you have to buy an additional ND filter from NiSi, but the great news is that that will just magnetically stick to the front of that lens. There's no screwing anything else off. You can stack up to 3 other additional filters on the front of the system without any problems. So if you want to go for that really long exposure photography, then you might want to invest in one of those. So another con would have to be the fact that if you only want to buy the VND itself, you do need to buy an additional case and a lens cap cover if you plan to leave it on your camera, which is what I plan to do. But that's really where the drawbacks end for me. There's nothing much else I can say about this from a negative point of view. But the caveat to that is, would I rather not have to use any ND filters at all? And the answer is definitely yes. No matter what you do, no matter how good the system is, it always slows you down a little bit. But what I think NiSi have done brilliantly here is they've managed to hit the sweet spot from effectiveness and efficiency. So again, that's a big thumbs up from me. What do you think? Have you got one of the JetMag Pros, or do you use another filter system that you think is better or worse? Please let me know in the comments, because I guess there's a lot of us out there that have not taken the plunge yet. It's probably because of the fear of spending too much money and making the process of taking photographs and making videos even more difficult. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, and it's been of any use to you, then consider giving me the thumbs up or hitting that subscribe button. And again, I'll be back next week with something new, and we're going to look a little bit more at photography. Thanks for watching, guys.